And the overarching message is that austerity is intrinsically connected to capitalism, to our current economic system, because it does something very fundamental for our system, which is preserve the fact that people have no alternative but to go work for a low wage. And this is really the wage relations are what ground our economic growth and our capitalist economy. And though this is not a natural given, it's something that the state has to actively, constantly protect in order to make sure that people do not think that they can have an alternative way of existing, cannot get imaginative about a different way to organize our economy. So austerity is there to tell us that we have to bend our necks and accept our condition as vulnerable, low-paid wage workers. This is the outcome of what you see if you look at history. And what you see also if you look at history is that there is a very, very big tension between capitalism and democracy. Austerity to work requires strong states, requires strong governments, and possibly prefers fascisms rather than democratic participation. So this is what you see, is that the birthplace of fascism, Italy, Benito Mussolini came into power in 1922. In Italy, he came into power with the agenda of crushing workers' mobilization. What I tell in the book is the story that after the First World War, in the hub of our capitalist economy in Western Europe, there were many experiments for a different society, experiments that were really putting at the center the participation of workers in the factories and in the countryside, and the idea of producing for need rather than profit. So experiments that were going to potentially propose a society that looked very different was quashed by austerity, and this happened very well, very swiftly in Italy because of the strong hand of Benito Mussolini. And the reason why I say that economists paved the way to fascism is because Mussolini became stronger because of the support that economists, mainstream economists, the founding fathers of the type of economic theory that is still dominant today. These economists were also liberal economists, so they thought they were liberals, but they were basically very strongly supporting Mussolini's regime. And this is true both for economists in Italy, but also for economists in the United States and in Britain. And I use archival work to really show how much the financial liberal establishment adored Mussolini because of his capacity to appease the population, curtail strikes, cut down wages, privatize, lay off public employees, do the whole austerity recipe very swiftly.
Perfect, Clara. About that, I have some questions sent to me by the journalist Luis Nassif, who has a large experience in economy journalism. And if you can talk about the future of the union organizations, considering the labor market revolution and trade union decline.
Yes, at present, yes. Before I do that, I would like to stress that another important finding of this historical research is to debunk and overcome the false dichotomy between the market and the state. What is usually said is that austerity is less state and more market. And actually what I try to show is that the point here is that the market always requires the state. The point is what type of state interventionism. And what you see is that austerity is all about shifting resources away from working people in favor of the saving, investing minority. So again, it is not less state, is the state acting in a classist way, our governments acting in a classist way to subordinate and weaken the majority in favor of the minority who gets enriched by the functioning of our capitalist economy. So this is very important. And I think this is connected to the question, because austerity, I just would like to define it, just because we're talking about it and we didn't define it yet. Austerity needs to be thought as more than just fiscal policies. Austerity, as I see it, is a trinity of policies that operate justified by very, very strong theories. And this trinity of policy is first fiscal. So it's about the fact that the state cuts social expenditure. Again, austerity is not just about budget cuts. That's the general picture that doesn't tell us anything. If you look at the United States right now, you might think that there's no austerity. There is austerity because the state is spending money on the war, on the military-industrial complex, on rescuing banks, on subsidizing private investors like asset managers. But in the meantime, it's cutting on social expenditures. It's cutting on schools, on healthcare, on transportation, on unemployment benefits, all of the resources for the people. So this is important. Fiscal austerity is about the fact that the state, again, decides where to spend, and it spends away from us. At the same time, fiscal austerity is not just about tax increases. It's about regressive taxation. So it's about increasing taxes on the common people. So increases consumption taxes, for example, taxes on bread, on cigarettes, on gas, while you cut taxes on the rich. So you cut inheritance taxes, you cut corporate taxes, you cut profit taxes. Again, this is what the state does, right? And this helps because at once it weakens us, but it empowers those who supposedly are leading the economy.